So it is match week 7 in the Premier League, and I'm not gonna lie, we got some very lovely fixtures to look forward to this weekend. So let's get straight into these predictions. First up on Friday night, which is tonight, we got Bournemouth versus Fulham. And I can't lie, Bournemouth are actually looking very impressive so far. Only 3 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. I think that is absolutely exceptional for the Cherries. For Fulham, I think they're doing alright. Like, only 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. I think that's a pretty good win ratio for Fulham. However, I think I'm going to go with the home side here. So I'm going to go for Bournemouth to win this game 2-0 against Fulham. Up next, we got the early kickoff tomorrow on Saturday. We got Leeds United up against Tottenham Hotspur. Now, I never had any faith in Leeds in order to stay up or do anything else. But like I said in previous videos, if they can keep up their home form, winning games at home, that's surely enough points to stay up in the Premier League. And Leeds are at home in this game tomorrow. However, for Tottenham, I think Tottenham have been a bit hit and miss. They've been dipping some form recently because I think in midweek, after being 2-0 down, salvaging a point against Bodo Glimt in midweek in the Champions League and drawing to Wolves with Joao Palhinha last-minute equaliser last time out. I can actually see a shock here. I mean, not a shock, but I'm probably going to go with a Leeds win. So I'm going to say Leeds United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1. Next, we got Arsenal up against West Ham, a London derby. I think Arsenal are actually performing very well. They're performing absolutely fantastic. They're on some very good form right now, especially coming off from last time out with that huge win against Newcastle last time out, and especially a quality performance in midweek in the Champions League against Olympiacos. This is actually very good form from Arsenal. Hopefully they can continue this momentum. For West Ham, I mean, they brought in Nuno Espirito Santo, and I think they played very well against Everton, gotten a draw under Nuno. But, however, I think it's going to be a very difficult test for West Ham. Bear in mind, West Ham have won back-to-back at the Emirates in the last 2 seasons, though. But I think Arsenal will be very too strong for West Ham. And I do say West Ham struggling here. But you never know, there could be a shock here. I'm going to go for Arsenal 2, West Ham 0. Manchester United versus Sunderland. Now, for Manchester United, we are in a bad place right now. We're in serious danger and could be facing relegation because Ruben Amorim is under serious pressure. 34 points in 33 games is absolutely horrific, unacceptable for him as manager of Manchester United, though. For Sunderland have been on some incredible form. Only lost 1 game, won 3, and drawn 2. And especially when they're playing away from home, they were actually very decent, especially coming off from a 1-0 win last time out away at Nottingham Forest. And honestly, I'm a bit worried about this fixture because Sunderland are literally a way better team than United right now. Sunderland sit 5th place in the Premier League, have more points. They have 11 points than Manchester United and a whole squad combined. And I honestly don't even know what could happen in this game or after the game because you never know. Could this be Ruben Amorim's last game in charge of Manchester United? Or will he keep getting worse for it? Or does he actually stay in the job? I'm actually going to go with a 1-1 draw, to be fair. Wouldn't be surprised if we lose or draw this game. But honestly, I just have no faith in us right now at the moment. Up next, we have the biggest game of the weekend on Saturday night. We got Chelsea taking on Liverpool. Now, both teams have been a bit on bad form recently. However, for Liverpool, have lost back-to-back games. They lost their first game in the Premier League against Crystal Palace and lost their first game in the Champions League against Galatasaray. Surely Liverpool won't lose 3 in a row. However, Liverpool are being held back because of their injuries. There's no Alisson. He's out until the international break. So, huge blow for Liverpool. And for Chelsea have been on bad form recently. And I honestly think they need to step up, though. Because they had like 3 red cards in their last 4 games in all competitions. By the way, Chelsea with the same win ratio as other teams. Drawn 2, lost 2, and won 2. A fun fact, by the way, Liverpool have not won away at Stamford Bridge since 2020. So I do believe that Chelsea can actually get a result, However, I think it's going to be a very entertaining game. And I think there will be goals in it. I'm going to say Chelsea 2, Liverpool 2. On to Super Sunday. We've got Aston Villa versus Burnley. Aston Villa are finally clicking into gear after getting their first win in the Premier League this season against Fulham. And especially coming off with a win in midweek in the Europa League against Feyenoord. I think Aston Villa are really starting to click here now. For Burnley, Burnley got absolutely battered last time out at the Etihad against Man City. So I actually see Aston Villa winning this game. So I'm going to say Aston Villa 2, Burnley 0. We got Everton versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are actually insane. They're like, 19 games unbeaten in all competitions, especially after beating Liverpool last weekend. Honestly, that is huge win for them. And that is absolutely impressive from Crystal Palace. They're absolutely cooking under Oliver Glasgow. Everton, I think Everton look very decent though. Whenever they're playing at home in their new Hill Dickens Stadium, I think they were actually very good. Despite being pegged back, against West Ham last time out. This could be a very tight game, I'm not going to lie. Will Crystal Palace maintain their unbeaten record so far this season? I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Next, we got Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest. I can't lie, Nottingham Forest have looked a bit terrible under Ange Postecoglou because in their last 6 games in all competitions, they lost 4 and drawn 2, especially losing in midweek against Midtjylland at home. I'm not going to lie, Forest might be in trouble this season. I don't know. They're definitely struggling, trying to pick up a win under Ange Postecoglou. For Newcastle, I can't lie, despite losing late on against Arsenal last time out, however, in midweek, I was very impressed with them in their Champions League win over Union Saint-Gilloise. I think their squad is well organised. Their attack is very good. And Nick Watermada, I think, is a very good signing for Newcastle. I can see the Geordies getting the 3 points here. I'm going to say Newcastle to win this game by 3-1. Wolves versus Brighton. Now, Wolves are literally in 20th place, only 1 point this season. For Brighton, I think that was a huge win against Chelsea last time out. So I can actually see Brighton winning this game 2-0. Then we got Brentford facing Manchester City. I'm not going to lie, Brentford, I think they looked good under Keith Andrews against Manchester United. But I think Manchester City will have too much for Brentford. I'm going to say for Manchester City to win this game 2-0. And Erling Haaland will get on the score sheet once again. And that is my Premier League predictions for this weekend. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree or disagree with the predictions? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to like, comment, and follow down below for more content. And you can also follow me on my other socials. They're linked in my bio on my profile, so you can go check it out.